Welcome back, everyone, to another review and thoughts on. And I gotta say, Fantasy Island is not as bad as people claim it is, at least to me. It stars Michael Peña, Maggie Q, Lucy Hale, and also Michael Rooker for a small character role. But anyway, it's based off a ABC's 1977 television series. I guess apparently people arrive at this island and it gives them their deepest fantasies or desires. And it's sort of like a Tales from the Crypt. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes they die from it, I guess. But I gotta say, I did not hate this movie like a lot of people claim it was. They did. And I'm shocked because I didn't even know this was PG-13. I thought it was R for some reason. It just felt like it was an R-rated movie, and then it's actually PG-13. But pretty much 5 people. They went a trip to this island, fantasy island, owned by Michael, not what's his name? Michael Peña. Pretty much his character's name is Mr. Roarke, and pretty much he explains to them they'll see their deepest fantasies, and that their fantasies will come to their natural conclusions, and pretty much but the characters you meet, Gwen Olsen, who I think is actually the woman that plays Nikita on a TV series, former cop Patrick, who his fantasy is that he wants to be in the military because his dad died in the military, and he couldn't go because his mom refused to let him go, so he became a cop. Then we have 2 stepbrothers, JD and Brax Weaver, which actually didn't mind them. I know a lot of people claim, they were annoying, or one of them was, and I don't get it. I thought they were funny. I thought they were just 2 brothers trying to have a good time, and they get mixed up in a terrible fantasy. Although it was a fun fantasy, because I guess their fantasy was to be rich and party all the time. Spring break forever, I guess. And there's Gwen, Patrick, just 2 brothers, and then the girl, Melanie, Cole, played by Lucy Hale. And pretty much her character, at first I thought, because they show a picture of her and a guy, and I thought it was her boyfriend or husband. Maybe she's there to fantasize with him, but no, it's not really the case. They win a contest pretty much to get there, and they trying to read it on here because the next morning each of the remaining guests are taken to their fantasies. Patrick is to enlist in a war. So then, at first, when he saw his dad, because this is pretty much a fantasy of him trying to see his dad again in the war, I guess prevent him from dying. But I'm like, but that doesn't really affect. And I have to admit, even though I like the movie, I gotta say I'm confused because wouldn't the fantasy? It's not real, so it wouldn't matter, because don't you have to stay on the island at the end of the day for it to even continue, I guess. But because he wants to prevent him from dying, and then they fight because, oh, you're supposed to be a hero, and then you're just going to abandon your men, and so that's going on. And then the Melanie character, you find out she's actually a nut job because she got bullied as a child by some douchebag blonde girl, and she finds her tied up in a Hostel reference, rip-off type place, and she electrocutes her a little bit. She pours water, cold ice water on her, I guess, and then she shows like a video of her cheating to her husband, and then she sees the doctor because she mentions how I guess a therapist or a doctor, a dentist guy, apparently he was like the worst because he was also mean to her, and so her fantasy. But then this whole scene I wasn't sure about, because then at the very end when you find out, oh, she's actually crazy, and she orchestrated everyone to be here. I don't know if maybe that was even in the original cut. Like, maybe, did that even need, like, was she even really originally evil to begin with? Or maybe, because at this point she saves her bully, because she realizes, oh, she's real, I don't want to kill her. But then, at the very end, oh, actually I do want to kill every one of you. So, I don't know, like, that twist, I mean, I didn't hate it, but at the same time, now that I'm thinking about it, would have been better if she was just a good character and didn't have that twist. Because pretty much you find out the island has like this orb thing. It lets, I guess, I don't know if it's in the water, in this cave. I think it's in, like, they go to a cave, and then Michael Rooker's character, you find out he was a PI sent there to expose, like, the island. And then he dies trying to protect the two, Lucy Hale and her bully. And then they work together. But yeah, pretty much everybody comes together at the, well, I can't remember if it's JD or which one is who. I think JD's the Asian brother. But he, pretty much, he didn't live out his fantasy. He didn't live out his fantasy, pretty much, so at the very end, okay, I'll just explain the ending part, the twist. Pretty much, Lucy Hale is mad that everybody, because apparently she was supposed to go out on a date with this one guy who she only went out for coffee with him once, and she stayed at the restaurant all night, pretty much, for hours and hours, waiting on him. But then, pretty much, you find out he burned in the building that Gwen and Patrick and the two stepbrothers lived in, and she wants revenge on all of them for letting somebody die, pretty much. Because you find out Patrick was actually a coward who wouldn't go into, but then also, you're really supposed to wait for the fire department to get in the building. But I mean, you can't really blame him, because granted, he was, but yeah, pretty much she wants revenge. She holds all of them accountable, pretty much, for his death. And the bully that she finds at the island, pretty much, she didn't live out her fantasy yet. And so Mr. Roarke gets, he lets her have her fantasy. Her fantasy is that Lucy Hale's character is with that Nick guy that died. So pretty much she gets dragged in the pond of the fantasy island, the water. And I guess she dies and I guess she gets drowned or something. And they all pretty much go off to the they all leave the island except for the JD character. He decides, oh, I want my brother to live and go. Pretty much, you find out the reason these two live together is because, like, JD character is gay and the parents don't approve, so he's been living with his brother Brax the whole time, sleeping on his couch or whatever. But yeah, he fantasizes that his brother's alive and goes home, I guess. And at first I thought I was gonna pull a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Oh, it's not. It's all over, and then stuff happens. I thought the plane would blow up or something, have a depressing ending like most Blumhouse movies and horror movies. But no, this actually, the two girls live. Oh, actually, okay, the JD character lives, but he stays on the island. The two girls decide to go home and go back to wherever they came from. So, like, you really get a happy ending. Well, a decent ending, because you have at least 3 survivors. Grant, one of them's going to stay on the island and be an employee, but and the owner of this island, Mr. Roarke, find out his assistant is actually his wife, and like the reason he's doing all this killing is because the island promises that he'll keep his wife alive, so he'll keep bringing her back even though she dies on, and then she comes back after he has to grant every fantasy, and he can't break any rules for that, and he can't go back on his word. But then eventually he actually turns her over a leaf, and his wife convinces him he has to do what he has to do what's right. So then he changes his mind and saves the remaining people, which I thought was cool. And actually, granted, not different, but you know what? I'll take this ending over a depressing, oh, everybody dies and we're having a sequel, whatever. I'd rather take this ending over, the other stupid Blumhouse endings. So, yeah, overall, I like the movie. The acting is fine. The idea was interesting. I actually cared about some people, believe it or not. Yeah, so this is an almost better version of Escape Room. Granted, it's not the same concept, but in terms of, we have these 5 people, and they're all connected. Well, not really. They're not all in that movie. They're not really connected, but they all have backgrounds, and granted, I cared about people in that movie, but then the ending ruined it because, they're not really out of the game. They'll die on that plane or whatever, so that sucks. But this movie, they get on a plane and they actually go off to wherever town or city they're from. And the movie actually nods to the show with a character named Tattoo or something. Again, I haven't seen the show, so I don't know the, But yeah, this movie, my thoughts on it, I thought it was a decent, competent movie. At least to me. So this might be the only positive review of this movie. But I don't care. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me your thoughts on the movie if you liked it or hate it. It's cool if you hate it. Or if you liked it and enjoyed it like I did. And yeah. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace and love.